Well, we're back. Season 9 is here. Well, there's no pressure to anyone in Tier 3 tonight, but you've got a hell of a benchmark to even contest with last season's championship. But it's a new dawn, new faces on the grid, and a new challenge awaits. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the opening night of FPRL Season 9. We are at the Shanghai International Circuit in China. A track which took a bit of a vacation from the calendar for years due to reasons, but made its return in 2024, so we are here in F1 24. And you know by the voice by now who I am. I'm Cruiser1872, and you know by the voice of my co-comms partner, welcome back, Monkey Boy Chart.
Thank you very much, Cruiser. I'll say it's good to be back. We haven't actually been away for that long, to be fair. It's been a quick turnaround in seasons. And as you said, what a fantastic season it was last season in Tier 3. It's going to be very, very difficult to beat the kind of scenes we saw last season. But hopefully this grid, we've got a full grid tonight as well on the first night, which is always great to see. But let's see what they can produce. We've got a lot of new drivers in here, a lot of people that have come down from Tier 2, which I think are going to really challenged from the start. So we've got Fardo that's come down, we've got Hirsch, and we've got also Remaster along with Reese's Pieces, who was a reserve in Tier 2 last season. We've also got some new drivers coming up to full times this season. We've got Destroyer now as a full-time driver, and Speedy as well. We've also got completely new drivers as well, in the likes of Buffalo Scoob in the Mercedes. I'm wondering how he's going to do tonight. But yeah, really good to get back going again. Round China, this track we haven't done for quite a while in FPRL. So let's see what these drivers can do. And let's see if it's going to be as close as what it was last season in Tier 3.
That we do, but one thing we can guarantee is we don't know what to expect. So we're very much in for the ride around the Shanghai circuit, and immediately off the bat we've got Reese, formerly in the McLaren last season, took a bit of a hiatus, is now back in the Red Bull. No doubt would be challenging the seat for Sergio Perez, but through sector 1 in towards turn 5 of this track, it's, at least from me doing time trial, which I haven't done much of, it is a very tricky track to get right. A lot of flowing corners, a lot of medium speed corners, and you do have a couple of the lower speed corners, notably that hairpin at the end of that never-ending back straight. So expect a few overtakes in this race. And a good evening to Hirsch, making their debut in Tier 3, the Tattoo Star, saying, "Missed you guys in the commentary box. Good luck tonight, Tattoo Star." And Suicide Boy saying, "Me not winning." Oh, this is always potential. There's always an upset on the cards in FPRL. So, I'll be seeing you on track, former teammate. I'll put you in the wall because I don't like this track at all. Anyway, up to the hairpin for Reese. First gear, that is a rare sight you see in Formula 1 games, seeing a first gear in one of these corners, and now finally, the final corner in this track. So easy to invalidate, at least from what I know. And Reese sets us off on a 31.7. Next up for him is going to be his teammate Magic Ram, who's invalidated his first run. Sheriff Woody in the Ferrari, making a step up from Haas, giving a tow, I think, to his teammate to start his lap, that being the Tattoo Star. As Sheriff Woody posts a 32.6. And a bit of a car park at the hairpin, and Sheriff Woody dives out the way of his teammate. So we'll see what the first few laps have on offer. There's Fardo starting his run, David going through sector 3, trading out, if I'm correct, it was a Williams last time out, and a constructor winning Williams last time out for David for a Mercedes. So see what David has for the evening with his teammate Buffalo Scoob. We'll keep an eye out on them, and all the best for their debut outing also. As who else we got on a lap? I make that one of the RBs or one of the Red Bulls to finish a lap. No, it's an RB of Button, David's former teammate, now top of the standings where he was mostly in qualifying last season.
Yeah, definitely. He's back to his very good qualifying pace already early on. Button to the top of the standings, obviously only 5 times across the line yet, so we're going to see that change probably. Destroyer there in the Haas, his new car for the season, goes up to 3rd place. And he's wants to be careful that he doesn't hit the Williams coming out of the pit lane there, but he just gets out of the way. Fardo gone through in fourth on a 32.2 as well. I think we're now seeing the Red Bull come round. I think that's Reese just on his out lap, isn't it? His in lap, sorry. We've also got coming around now as the Tattooed Star in the other Ferrari, partnering in Sheriff Woody this season. He's going to lose all his deployment. He's going to lose a lot of time coming down to the last bit of the straight yet. 33.1, lost a lot of time coming out of the last corner with no deployment there. So he will want to improve. We've also got coming around now the final corner, I believe. That is Sid Sandwich, and he puts himself into 8th for 33.2. Still some more people coming round. I think we've got Aviation JSY, but he's invalidated, so he's going to have to go again. So he will... Oh no, careful! He just dipped out the wall just. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to have to be coming in and getting some new tyres. And I will go to Hirsch finally before I hand back to you. Comes around with a 33.3 P9. I think Hirsch will be knowing that he can do a lot better than that. I think he'll be one of the front runners this season, obviously coming down from Tier 2.
He will. Looking for better fortunes as Hirsch, let's say that. But just ahead of his teammate Locker, as there's more times out. It's like Brewmaster up to 4th. Following the flow, though, around the final corner, we know what he can do. Failed to win a race, shockingly, last season, despite placing so high in the standings. Goes 6th on a 32.4. And as it is, only 3 drivers currently breaking into the 131s. But maybe a bit outlandish to say that we'll see a 130, but we'll definitely expect a few 130s in our higher tiers as we continue our week in China. Of course, all of our races streamed on twitch.tv/FP Racing League. As we'll head a divert from the Tattoo Star back to the pit lane. Twitch.tv/FP Racing League, where we stream all of our races as there's Sheriff Woody making a cameo, heading into the pits. Tier 3, we are racing tonight, 8 PM UK time, all of our start times at 8 PM. I should say Greenwich Mean Time now, because summertime is almost over, as we're in October. Rhyming. Tier 2, we race on the Wednesdays, and Tier 1 on the Fridays. If you guys want to sign up to FPRL through our Twitch chat, Nightbot will drop a link to our recruitment server, or type !F1 in our Twitch chat and send you a link to our Discord recruitment server. Complete the steps and we'll get you in for the remainder of the season, as there's a Tattoo Star making a cameo from one Ferrari to another. And we have other forms of social media. We have our Twitter account, well, formerly Twitter, now X, at FairPlayRL. Discord link is in our homepage, and I wouldn't say we're desperate for drivers, but we are very much wanting to expand the league and get this, get this as out there as possible. And every driver who joins up, we are grateful for to join up and just have a good time in general, expanding the league and for all we know, making a couple of friends, as I certainly have through my experiences in the league. I'm a bit softy, I know. As I think there's Sid Sandwich heading down the back straight. Got to be careful of the battery usage though, because we've seen already it is very thirsty around this track. Through the hairpin though, again another instance of first gear through the hairpin, as I see Sid using no deployment, and he's abandoned that lap. So, wise call for Sid, heading down one of the most famous pit lanes in the world, of course, Nigel, because you're in chat, where Lewis Hamilton bottled the championship in 2007. You're welcome.
Yeah, love you for saying that. As we were watching there, a few drivers going up near towards the front of the grid. Was Lavoz going P5 of a 31.9, Jay Undisputed, who really performed well towards the end part of last season, it has to be said, up to P4 of a 31.8. And we also saw Reese's Pieces in the McLaren go up to 9th of a 32.9. We've now got one of the Kick Saubers coming across. Oh, it's Locker, but he's going into the pits. Currently P15 Locker. He'll be hoping to try and do a bit better than that, obviously, come the next 8 minutes of this session. But there's still plenty of time yet. We've got two drivers out on laps that haven't set one yet, in Speedy and Buffalo Scoob. And what's Buffalo Scoob going to do? Yeah, looks like he's a bit down. He comes around the final corner. And yeah, this is going to be a bit well off. And it's going to be a 39.5. I don't know if he's made a mistake in that lap, but he's got some time to improve on it. Nevertheless, Speedy then will be the next person to come across that hasn't set a time yet, as he takes the full-time Alpine this season. Came in for about the last couple of races and did impress. I think he got a P3 in the final race around Abu Dhabi last season. So let's see what he can do. His teammate there of Wizard of Oz gets out the way, and now he comes across or through the final corner. Oh, and he's invalidated there, and that's really gonna... Oh, and it would have been a 32.2, which would have put him up to around P7, P8. But that's obviously going to be an invalidation for the next lap as well. So I think it'll be back in the pits and a fresh set of tyres for Speedy.
He's not enough time though, because there's a yellow flag out in track, and I think I saw, yep, 7 minutes left. He should be okay to go around, as there's JSY. A neat transition there from Speedy to JSY. Both of the RB drivers sandwiching the field so far. Of course, Jay hasn't set a lap yet, but Button has. Still leads the way and has actually went out for another lap. As I can see, he's going to start his lap and finish a lap, because he's just went faster on a 31.3. And this is one thing that Button will know that he's confident at, he's good at, is the one lap pace. Last season it just didn't work out for him in the season. He did get a victory though around Spa, but he will be looking for maybe an extra one or two of them in this season, as Nigel has returned my comments of the famous pit lane with a very nice, I say a nice word of appreciation. I won't repeat it though. And Sid saying, don't forget Vettel's double overtake in the pit lane. Of course, 2015 Sebastian Vettel doing a double overtake in the pit entry. Legal, I suppose. And Silverside Boy saying, you're going to need to say his name with the shaggy voice, Monkey, of course in reference to Buffalo Scoop, who's down in 17th place right now. Well, hopefully he can get his lap together. It did look a little bit slow at the end, but I think he made a mistake at one stage, just looking to get a bit of battery back for an outlap. As JSY to the line goes 8th ahead of Fardo, which if it remains as it is, I think he'll be quite content with that, but that mid-pack is looking quite close and quite tasty, to be fair. From Brewmaster a 32.1 down to David on a 32.4, 7 drivers covered by 0.3 of a second, as David has actually improved there to go up into the top 10.
Yeah, I think we're going to start to see people now on their second runs, and I think they'll just have enough time to get them back into the pits for their third runs. But we've got some of the Aston Martins coming across the line. That's Fardo, and he's going to start his out lap. It's so hard now to tell who's actually on a lap. It's Jay Undisputed getting ready for his second run. We've got some Mercedes coming down the back straight. That's Buffalo Scoob, who's only 8 tenths up. Can he take the last corner any better than he did last time? He can a little bit. It's going to be better. It's going to be a better time, I think. But it's still is quite a way off. He needs to try and maybe, yes, his first race, just take it in easy. Improves by 2.6 seconds, so he's up to 36.8. Around about just over a second, or just under a second slower than Rainbow. So, yeah, just needs to manage it. As we've now got, who have we got coming around? We've got anyone on a lap? Reese's.
We got both of the Salbers. We got Hirsch just ahead of Locker on track.
Okay, we'll go to Hirsch and we'll see what he can do. As we said, we think that he should be. I think he's actually now. I think he's gone out of this one. He's on no battery, 86%. So I think he's going to go again. Yeah, he's trying to get some of that back. FPRL Locker, though, looks like he's definitely going to finish his lap here with a better time. See what he can do. Currently he's on a 33.8. Locker goes up to P13 with a 32.4. That's time to get back into the pits and get another fresh set. But he's going to be tight. He's going to have to be quite quick.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think that's him done. He's got 3.5 minutes to go. He's got to absolutely fly around this track. Get back in the pits and then get back out. I think Locker's done, honestly, with how much time is left. What he would pay for another 30 seconds is I think that's a fair response. As Jay has lagged out the session, but he's improved to go second at least, I suppose. But I was wondering why his timer went up to around like a 1 minute 40. but he's lagged out of the session, so we need to get him back in before the start of the race. Reese is starting his final run. This will be his last run. We've got Buffalo Stroob still getting himself ready for another run, but importantly, Speedy B hasn't set a lap yet. We will need to get this one on the board, otherwise it's a disaster for the Abu Dhabi podium man. As I see JSY sharing his appreciation for this track, saying that it is not good. Is a nice term or phrase of saying it. There's Button going for his final outlap of the session, but we'll stick with Reese because he is really the only one on track who is on a flying lap. We do have the Flow on a flying lap, but he's just starting the second sector. Reese has found a couple of tenths in the middle sector, but it's all going to be down to the final run. You don't want to do that though. Going a bit wide on the curb, and that battery is not looking healthy for Reese. This might just about save Button, unless someone like Destroyer or Oz or even Brewmaster can find a ton of time and then some to even challenge the RB. If not, Button is going to have his first podium of the new season as Buffalo Stroob. That is not what you want to start the season. He's been disqualified for trying to stay out the way of other drivers and has just put it in the wrong bit of track. And that's actually it for Reese. He's done. Reese has lost all that time in Sector 3. He's not going to improve. So that's another challenger safe for Button. But as it is, Destroyer and Oz, at best, they've got to find, did I say, 6, even 7 tenths to challenge the RB, who's on his final run now.
Here comes the Flow. What can he do? It's not going to be quick enough. It's only P9 for the Flow. He'd be disappointed with that. He would have wanted to be a lot higher. But yeah, Button, what a time he's got here. I'm going to be very surprised if that's going to be beaten. And he's on another run as well now, Button. And Jay Undisputed has retired from the session. I'm assuming he's back in the lobby to do that.
Yeah, he joined up.
He did, right, lovely. So let's see what Button is doing now. And so far, so good it seems. As we've got a yellow flag out, that's just one of the Haas is slowing down. Hirsch is onto his final lap. P16, he'll want to be improving. That is not good enough from his standards. We've also got David on his final lap now. Just trying to see if we've got anyone coming across the line on a flyer. A Haas coming across the line, a Destroyer. And then the Aston Martin, I think that's Fardo. Yeah, I think now we're going to see the last people coming across the line. I think the first one's going to be the Alpine. No, that's going to be Speedy as well. So difficult to try and find his coming across. Button is going to be the first one to come across. And he is up slightly. He's going even quicker here. Here he comes. Can he improve on a 31.3? Yes, he can. He has the 31, well, 31.2 basically, but just inside the 31.1s. And he's so far ahead of the pack. Reese's Pieces coming across the line. He's now 5 tenths up. What can Reese's Pieces do? Can he get in the 31s? He can just about. Goes up into P6 with that time, a 31.9. And now we've got the Haas of Brewmaster 4 tenths up. This could potentially put Brewmaster into second place. Obviously come down from tier 2. He'd be expected to be there. And he does go there. P2 for Brewmaster. And we've also now got Hirsch coming across the line. What can Hirsch do? It's not going to be as quick as that. It's only P14 for Hirsch.
Yeah, some teething problems, I think, for Hirsch. Just trying to get himself back on track. David's across the line to go 12th. What can Oz do, though? He's got a challenge Brewmaster, maybe. Not quite there, but third place he'll be happy with. What about Destroyer? Just about keeps it in bounds. He's up by a 10th. A couple more in the final sector, maybe. He does. He beats his teammate by a 1,000th of a second to deny him a front row on his return. But Button miles ahead of the rest as it is, unless somebody can pull out a wonder lap here. Sheriff Woody doesn't improve on his time. He'll be satisfied, though, with 8th. And ladies and gentlemen, first blood goes to Button by 4 tenths almost around this Shanghai circuit. Welcome back, Button. And indeed, back to basics for now the RB driver. But this is what's plagued him before. Can he finally make it count in the race? Because qualifying, he does all the work. But the race, it just hasn't tweaked yet for Button. He needs some fine-tuning. But indeed, so I say, boy, saying Button to tier 2. I think this is just one of the favourite tracks for Button, and JSY saying that he's lagged out again and we'll need an invite back.
Yeah, I did
So
send him
hopefully
one.
that happens
Hopefully he
quick.
gets in. But yeah, I mean, Destroyer up there again. Impressed really well last race of the season. Led most of the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi before his tyres went off. He finds himself 1,000th ahead of his teammate Remaster, who we expected would be up there, obviously dropping down from Tier 2. But I have to say, Fardo and Hirsch, who also dropped, I won't be too impressed with where they've ended up there. P12 and P17. Reese's Piece is also coming down from Tier 2, starts P7. That's a bit more respectable, I think he would say. But yeah, going to be a very interesting race. Button obviously on pole from Destroyer. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But there was a lot there that I thought we'd see other drivers up there, and we didn't. So I think that just goes to show you that when it comes to other tracks that we're going to visit this season, we might be seeing this grid, or at least qualifying, being a bit up and down for some drivers. But yeah, let's wait and see what the race is going to produce.
That we do. JSY saying he needs to resend the invite real quick. Hopefully we do get him in. And yeah, I'm mightily impressed with Button's time. Hirsch saying he done a 30, barely broke into the 31s. I tell you, he done a 31.005 in time trial, and says himself he's usually better in the race. And I think it's going to be another recovery drive for, if I'm correct, he was our season 2 tier 1 champion, if I'm correct, for Hirsch. But obviously the new bloods arrived, and I think Hirsch wants to remind them who he is. Because winning in tier 1 is far from easy. I mean, I've never actually driven in tier 1, but you have, Monty Boy Kurt. So at least you've got that a bit of experience on me. Radical saying if Button doesn't get promoted next season, this is rigged. There was another word in that sentence, but I'm not gonna repeat it. But obviously, Radical, I mean, I'll see you on Wednesday, and hopefully you don't beat me because, yeah, I'm as I say, I'm only racing to get rid of a penalty from last season because I don't like this track at all. So we've had a couple of weeks break from league racing. We've had a few weeks outside of Formula 1. That is actually returning this weekend around Kota. And Multi Boy Car, I know in the world of darts, I did my best to help Luke Humphries win, but there's only so much my powers can do. But I did make it a bit interesting, because what was it? He was down 4-1, and he brought it back to 4-4. So
Yeah,
I done my bit for you, mate. I'm sorry, just wasn't enough.
No, yeah, if we're talking darts quickly, yeah, very shock win for anyone that does watch darts here. Mike De Decker winning the Grand Prix. Never saw that coming, and Jay Undisputed has just joined, so he will be able to take control of his car just before we get going, obviously with the 5 lights. Also, please, I don't know if this was put in the lobby beforehand, but there is no formation lap anymore. We have scrapped it. We have basically said that warming the tyres on the formation lap, well, essentially, it doesn't really do anything. The game is what's basically said. You know, you weave on the formation lap, and the tyres don't really heat up. It's all in the brakes, really. So, formation lap is scrapped. So when we ready up, we will go straight to the race. So we've got to remember that, me and you, Cruiser, as well, because we might be expecting, obviously, them to go round on a slow lap, but it will be 5 lights and away we go straight away, which will obviously speed up the race a little bit, only by 2 or 3 minutes or so. But yeah, I'm wondering as well what kind of strategies we're going to see around here, because obviously I know down obviously into turn 1, and here we go. I'm going to hand back to you now, Cruiser.
Thank you. We got 5 lights at Shanghai. A new season dawns. We're foot to the floor of racing once more in Tier 3. Button and Destroyer having an even start, but Button leading in the second phase. Is in towards turn 1. We got McLaren right up the inside there. It looks like the flow having a bit of a poor start. They're getting bogged down. As now around turn 1, this never-ending loop of turn 1. And Reese's Pieces has hit problems. He's lost out badly there amongst the pack. Not sure who he's tangled with, but it looks like there. Rumas has had problems as well. He's spun it at the exit of turn 3. So Rumas has had a poor start there. So is David. He's been marred at the back along with one of the Hasses. That is Rumaster, and Hirsch getting a poor start as well. but Button doing what he's had to do, leading from the off, as I see he's actually started on a set of hard tyres. So let's have a look at what strategies look like. It looks like a predominant white wall of hards, but a couple in the mediums there. We see GSY highest up the pack in 5th on a set of mediums, but is lost out to this quartet at the front. Button, Destroyer, Oz and Reese. GSY in 5th, Fardo 6th, G Undisputed. Locker's had a great start there, up to 8th, Tattoo Stars in 9th. Actually, Locker there having a go at G Undisputed there. The resurgence driver from last season, picking up the victory at Kota. The Lockers arrived in the scene now to take 7th place away, as G Undisputed has lost it around turn 12. Ah, nah, he's lagged out.
People got to be careful here. That's really unlucky for him.
Yeah, his car's to the far right side. It should be okay. It's peeled off there. Oh, Jay. And a terrible debut for him.
Oh, there's a pile up.
Not even his
got
fault.
a pile up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is not a good first lap for Tier 3. You know, comparing it to what we saw last season. Yeah, this first lap has not been great by any standards, I have to say.
There's like 7 cars in amongst this group here. Goodness me. And actually, in all of this, somehow, I don't want to jinx anything. Rainbow is up in 8th. David, he's tagged with him there, and there was another Williams having problems. It's Rainbow's. Oh my goodness me. Get the elbows out, Rainbow. You're in the points.
Yeah, I think Magic Ram's just gone round as well at turn 1. I think everyone just got to calm down a little bit here because, yeah, this is not the ideal start that we wanted to see. I mean, we can see that how the top 7 have literally just pulled away from everyone. It's almost like we're watching 2 separate races and we're only on lap 2, but it's Button that leads from Destroyer, who now will have DRS and will look to take the lead on this second lap. Wizard of Oz 3rd, Reese 4th, Fardo's 5th, and we've all got another yellow flag out now, and I think that is Buffalo Scoob that's gone round. Yeah, he needs to get out of there quick. He will do. That's, yeah, not the ideal start for some of these drivers. Here comes Destroyer. Will he be close enough? I don't think he is. I think Button got a better run off the last corner, but Reese down the inside of Wizard of Oz into the hairpin, and he takes 3rd place for now.
Slight collision though, the front wings there, but Reese is ahead of Oz, and he's up now into 3rd as we now have DRS down the main straight. Of course, DRS now active on lap 2 of these races. Destroyer putting that to good use, looking the door around the outside of Button in towards turn 1 and turn 2. Tightens up ever more. Button's got the inside line. Destroyer looking to brave it around the outside. He's going to filter back in line, and that tighter line though around turn 2 and turn 3, it doesn't help him. He's going to lose out a little bit there. But Reese in 3rd, Wizard of Oz in 4th, Fardo a quiet 5th, Lockers in 6th, Speedy B a bit of a distant 7th as well. But 5th down through to 7th are all a bit of an even gap. And Brewmaster's finally got through ahead of Rainbow, who's now down in 12th. So Rainbow's been caught there a little bit down that back straight. But Brewmaster now, he's got a lot of track ahead of him, which is free. And he's got to make up a good chunky time now to catch up even just to 7th place Speedy. But I tell you right now, these guys will be looking for some form of safety car just to bunch up the pack a little bit, as their side sandwich making the move on Rainbow now down to 14th. But Rainbow, at least he ran in the points though for a couple of moments. It'll give him a good bit of confidence for the remainder of the race, knowing something is on the cards, as Magic Ram actually pitted on lap 2. I think that was for a new front wing, as we're going to follow this group for a little bit longer. Brewmaster, Tattoo Stars in 9th, and Reese Pieces in 10th, ahead of the Flow and Sheriff Woody, as there's actually more commotion. Just see there from the camera, that is Wizard of Oz getting back ahead of Reese, as we're going to follow the Tattoo Star in towards the hairpin, using whatever's left of that battery and the DRS and the Slipstream. Brewmaster trying to defend to the inside, and Tattoo Star is looking for that move down the inside, breaks a little bit deeper, just about leaves Brewmaster enough room, as there's Locker making an early pit stop there. Is that for front wing damage for the Sauber? We'll keep an eye on that. You can access a different camera. But Brewmaster just holds on against the Tattoo Stars. Going to have the run of them in towards turn 1. Brewmaster's though got a bit more straight line speed and holds on for the moment, as we'll jump back to Locker. And it is a front wing change for Locker. That is, yeah, that's nothing short of a disaster, really.
Yeah, I think he was carrying a little bit and he was just dropping back a little bit. So maybe, you know, I mean, what tyres has he gone on to? He's gone onto the hard. So hopefully he'll be maybe hoping that there's not going to be a safety car and it'll bring him back into it. But yeah, not ideal for the Kick Sauber pair, actually, down in 16th and 18th. Not the start they wanted, obviously, as we now get back to the front again, and Destroyer now ahead of Button. 7 tenths is the gap, but Button seems to really take the corner going onto the straight well. Literally gained just 2 tenths just in the corner. Let's see what he can now do as well. 4 tenths is the gap. I think he's going to overtake him again, potentially. No, he's going to wait until the main straight, which will be in a couple of corners, obviously. Wizard of Oz and Reese still battling, and that's allowed Fardo to catch up to the back of them as well. Speedy's not too far behind as well, about 4 seconds. So if we go back to the front, Button needs to get, he's not going to be far close enough on this occasion, and Destroyer will keep the lead for another lap, it seems. But this is what Button's now got to do. He's got to try and convert that really, really good quali pace into race pace. And Sid Sandwich gets a penalty for track limits. But yeah, Fardo as well has really come up. He's obviously on the back of these two now, trying to get an early promotion, an early podium place.
That he is. Fardo looking to bounce back from what was a pretty wretched Tier 2 campaign. As there's Reese's pieces and the flow getting ahead of Sheriff Woody. Both of the McLarens displacing the Ferrari out the point. Sid Sandwich there getting a 3-second penalty, as you said. Actually in this little group of cars from 9th place downwards, but that fighting's allowed the Tattoo Star to break away just a little bit now to himself and Brewmaster. As we'll look through the pack, my apologies. Speedy B hanging in there in 6th, just a couple of seconds ahead of Brewmaster, and probably 3.5 seconds we'll call it, between himself and Fardo. But that DRS is going to be very important down this back straight, just to stretch your legs a little bit more. But one thing I will say though, is with the high speed corners in this track, it's about how much you manage your tyres. It's not about how quickly you can go, as there's Reese making another move on Oz, who breaks that a little bit later, forces him to try and do a little switchback here in the exit. Reese now looking for the outside line, but into the final corner, it's not really an overtaking opportunity. Wizard of Oz takes back third, but has a tighter line. Reese playing the long game here, now looking for the overtake in towards turn 1. And Reese a couple of corners later than what he would have wanted, but he's back up into the podium places. But like I said though, these tyre temperatures and how much wear you put in the tyres. There's Fardo making a move on Wizard of Oz. He's caught him out there a little bit, and Fardo up now into 4th place. At least let me get my point across here, gentlemen. You're putting in some good overtakes, but let me actually try and say what I'm trying to say.
Yep, Fardo gets past the Wizard of Oz. Got to be careful, I think, a little bit. There's a bit aggressive there. Maybe Wizard of Oz didn't like the little nudge that sent him into a little bit of a half spin, so he's got to be careful. But he's up to 4th now. Obviously come up on the grid from P12, so he's up 8 places. And Speedy as well is up from 15th up to P6, so he's having a good race as well. And we've got Rainbow in the pits down in 18th position. So he should come up just in front of Magic Ram. Magic Ram will hope to try and make the overtake in a bit. But Destroyer and Button back to the front. And it looks like Destroyer now is kind of... he's got that gap that he needs to stay in front in the DRS zone. And Button can't really seem to get anywhere near him now in these 2 DRS zones. Destroyer doing enough here. And what we want to try and do now is obviously try and break that second barrier as we look at the battery for both of them. 13% for Button, whereas Destroyer's got 52%, and will gain a bit more now going around turn 1. So he's looking at a bit healthier at the moment. Is Destroyer in the Haas, almost coming off where he was at Abu Dhabi at the end of last season. Fardo now up to 3rd place, so he's going very strong as well.
He is making the overtake on Oz, and then making the overtake on Reese towards turn 1, and Oz wasn't wasting any time either. Getting back ahead, as we said as well. The battery actually, we'll focus that for Fardo, 30%, but he is on hot lap. The Wizard of Oz on 48 through medium, and Reese is on roughly the same as Oz. So we'll leave them to their own little fight. It seems like that's going to be a destined fight for the final podium place, and this looks to be the 2-horse race at the front. Destroyer and Button just managing their own pace at the front, as they've got a 4-second gap now back to Fardo in third, and that little trio fighting for third, as that's actually a pretty decent camera shot there, to be fair. I'd give that a solid 8 out of 10 for Codemasters. Just a shame the game isn't as good as that. Anyway, Destroyer down the back straight with Button looming large. This might be the lap. Button goes for the overtake, but indeed it's not. He's just going to sit back that little bit longer as the RB. Just let that battery charge and let Destroyer use his, but Destroyer is on 55%, Button around 40%, so Destroyer, as it is, he's got some form of control in this race as we start lap 8 of 28. Not even half race distance yet, goodness me, still plenty of racing action left to go. As this Sheriff Woody, and I make that Reese's Pieces there, in towards the hairpin, and Sheriff Woody got the inside line for the final corner. Reese gives him the shove, but Sheriff Woody not having any of it. He won around Bahrain in a season opener last season. He's now mired down in 9th for this fight here with the McLarens, but this is helping the Tattoo Star. Woody's teammate pull away a little bit as there's Reese getting the elbows out there, forcing Woody wide at turn 1, now towards turn 2 for the switchback, and Reese's Pieces hold on just for that moment longer, but the flow somewhat annoyed. He's in this little tussle here, it's kind of costing him time, but this has now made this a little battle between the Tattoo Star and Brewmaster. 4 seconds now, and the field is definitely spaced out. And one driver I kind of feel bad for here is actually Speedy B. He's got the definition of a one-man race right now in 6th place. He's done all the work at the start, and I think now it's just a leisurely drive now for the end of the race here for the Alpine.
Yeah, I don't think Speedy B's going to be too disappointed, though, for where he's actually at the moment. He's come up from P15 to P6, and I think, to be honest, he'll be quite happy to sit there with no one around him. As you know, he's got to do no battles. No one can force him to do any moves that he doesn't want to do, potentially. He can just kind of watch down the front of the back straight here at the guys in front of him fighting, and can hopefully get that gap down a little bit. But it seems as if, obviously, the DRS is helping them. Do seem to have a little bit more race pace as the 3 drivers in front. But yeah, Wizard of Oz now into P3, Fardo into P4. They're all sort of chopping and changing as Fardo now is going to come back from the Wizard of Oz. Oh, and he cuts across. And I think Reese also went for a move as well, so he had to be careful there that he didn't pull out. Here comes Reese trying to go around the inside there of Fardo. Had to then cut to the outside, wasn't able to get past. There's a yellow flag out. And that's Buffalo Scoob, who spun around. Still going in P19 on lap 9 in the Mercedes in his first race. Just behind Rainbow he is now. And once again, obviously at the front now, 5/10 the gap. It just doesn't really seem to be changing between these front two. But Button has done a fantastic job in getting his battery. Remember a couple of laps ago it was 13%, well it's now up to 86%. And to be fair to him, Destroyer as well has almost got a full battery as well. So these two have been really, really good at the ERS charging, but Button, that's what he'll want to try, maybe deploy a bit of it down this back straight and potentially try and get Destroying the DRS as he deploys quite a bit there, comes off it, 5/10 again. Once again, I don't think he's going to be just close enough to have a go on this occasion, and once again, no he isn't. He's going to have to try and wait for this. This battle even might come down to who pits first. It might come down to an undercut.
As Buffalo Strube is retired in the pit lane, that spin doing pay to the Mercedes race. And it was a steady drive for Buffalo Strube, but unfortunately it goes no further than 9 laps as we start lap 10 of this Tier 3 Chinese Grand Prix and our season opener in Tier 9. Massive thank you to everyone tuning in on twitch.tv/FP Racing League, 23 viewers strong for our opening round, and a big thank you for tuning in on your Monday nights. We'll be back Wednesday for Tier 2 and Friday for Tier 1, 8 PM UK time. Don't miss it. Which is as it is. You might have a little.
Sorry, I've got to cut in. They've got to be careful of Buffalo Scoob's car. Oh, that was very, very close for Sheriff Woody. A bit of, I think you'd have some brown underpants after that.
Yeah, a little, as we see in there, just pull over. Actually, not going to lie, I thought Stroob's car was the other Mercedes on track of David Wallface, quite a bit further back from where his teammate's car exited the pits. But fair play, Sheriff Woody, he held on. But like I was saying though, we might have a few battles brewing on track. Most notably for third, that's a terrible line there for Woody there. Sorry to calling it that, but it was. Got caught in the curb, which are violent around this track for some reason. We got our own little battles brewing though, most notably Destroyer and Button. They've been inseparable since the start really. Destroyer making the move on lap 4, getting the lead and hasn't relinquished it for quite a while actually as we start. As we're going to head down the back street here with Reese. Fardo making the move there on Oz. Reese is getting, I think he's getting a little bit frustrated here. He's getting caught up with these two. He knows he can be quicker, but just can't get past them as they both start to fight. And Oz making the switch back there and Fardo gets the overtake done, and this I think is Reese's best chance. But Fardo has just enough battery to pull that gap and look to challenge Oz in towards turn 1, but Oz just far enough ahead. But takes an awkward line over in turn 1. It's going to invite Fardo up the inside, but Oz knows he's going to have momentum towards turn 2. Fardo gets ahead though, and Reese is growing ever frustrated now in that Red Bull cockpit as there is Brewmaster, the first driver to pit off of the mediums, excluding Locker of course, for front wind damage, but 11 laps on mediums. That sounds about right, I think, for a medium hard strategy.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. Obviously, Remaster was down in P7, so P7, P8. He was fighting with the tattooed start, so yeah, he's going to gain a bit on the drivers in front of him. He might be able to get in front of Speedy come the time Speedy pits, but obviously they're all going to be on fresh mediums. Are most of the drivers when it gets to around sort of lap, I would say 15, 16, 17. What Remaster wants now, he wants a safety car, because that's going to put a lot of those hard runners into a bit of a situation. Whereas, you know, they'll have to pit, and that will obviously leave mediums to go 17 laps, which probably won't be the case. So he will definitely want a safety car around about now, will Remaster. Bits of battling going on once again for the positions 3rd, 4th and 5th. And it really does not stop with these three. Wizard of Oz and Fardo trade in that 3rd place again. And is Fardo going to have a go into turn 1 this lap? I think he is. I think he's just about got the pace this time as they go side by side. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. He close and once again makes the move. But here goes Reese down the outside. Needs to be careful as well. There's a bit of contact between him and the Wizard of Oz. And the Wizard of Oz loses 2 places in 1 corner.
Cracking racing there from all 3 of these drivers for 3rd place. And still as we are, it's Destroyer leading Button. 4 tenths though between them and Button. I think this is just a case of harvest your battery, but you've got to bide your time. This is very much a patient race here for Button and Destroyer as we'll scroll through the field. Who else we got fighting here? We got Brewmaster and Locker. Both of these drivers have made their pit stops, but Locker's tyres 7 laps older than the Haas. We got Hirsch still managing his way on 10 lap old mediums. I think, if I'm correct, Hirsch did get caught up in that lap 1 pile up at the hairpin. So something to consider for a tier 2 race, and be careful not to duplicate. As there's Reese's pieces actually with a bit of front right end plate damage in his fight with Sheriff Woody. The flow just hanging in there though, but a sole point in 10. If that's not what the flow would have hoped for at the start of the evening, as here we go again. Reese and now Fardo getting into 3rd place now as the Red Bulls. There's Fardo getting the elbows out there a little bit later, and there's Wizard of Oz with an actually textbook switchback there on the Aston Martin driver up in towards the final corner there. Reese just about leaves enough room, but Oz I think wants to return the favour from the last lap and get the pair of them in one go. He's going to look for it, he's going to send it up the inside, is he? He is, but Reese braves around the outside, filters back in line. And I tell you what, for all these drivers is accepting a fight for 3rd, it's been a fantastic fight here between the 3 of them. And as I said earlier, battles brewing for the season in a few championship rivalries. Here's a couple right now.
You're right there, Cruiser, and I said earlier as well that Speedy will be loving where he is. He's got no one behind him, no one in front of him, but look at that. He's now down to 4 seconds. It was around about 6, so he's definitely catching with these guys in front of him fighting. And maybe Speedy will take this decision now. Does he pit early and try and get a bit of an undercut and try and jump all 3 of them? That would be a fantastic result for him if he was to do that. Yeah, he's only 3 seconds back, or 4 seconds back, so it's not too far. I reckon potentially we could be looking at maybe, if he's due to pit on, say, lap 16, lap 17, coming on lap 14, 15 and see what he can do. Potentially get an undercut on the guys in front of him. As once again, Button and Destroyer just literally staying in the same place. Button literally just can't get within about 3 attempts of that back straight, and that's what he needs to obviously make the overtake. But for now, you know, we've still got half of this race to go. It's lap 14. There's a lot of time left. I think, and we've got past lap 1, lap 2, and since then it's been quite a clean race, it has to be said. There's not been any sort of real shenanigans since the first lap. So maybe they listened to me on the stream, as I did obviously call it out for what it was on lap 1. But yeah, other than this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, there's not really any other battles going on. Everyone's at least a second apart from each other.
Well, there is, but I suppose at the same time, they're all managing their own race, as I see. There's one driver we've not really mentioned too much in this race, I think, is, we'll scroll through, JSY. Actually, quite a quiet race here for the RBs. A couple of seconds back though from David, but he did pit and is destined now to try and get to the end, but he's one that'll hope for a safety car. Get rid of those hard tyres, because Brewmaster and Locker behind him are starting to catch up. Brewmaster did get ahead of Locker at some stage. Locker though in a little bit of a healthy position though to JSY. He's a couple of laps fresher on tyres. David Lawface a few seconds up the road but hasn't pitted yet. There's a yellow flag set to Magic Rams lost it at the final corner, and that is exactly what Brewmaster was hoping for, but might not have been the right time. If you're JSY though, you're thankful for that. You can go for a set of mediums, and for all the hard runners, dive into the pits, because you got to manage the next second half of this race on mediums, which we've seen Brewmaster pit after 11. Good luck getting 14 out of them.
Yeah, JS has got a drive through, speeding under the safety car, not what he wanted. I'm trying to see who this is going to affect potentially. Speedy might lose a bit of time here, but I think the Wizard of Oz should hopefully be got the tyres on and gone before he gets into the box. The people it's going to affect is the Ferraris. The Ferraris and the McLarens are obviously right behind each other, so they're going to have to try and give the necessary gaps here to not try and affect their pit stops. And I'm going to wonder if we're going to see any wing changes as well, because I think a few people were having a bit of a wing damage. I'm just seeing now the McLaren's coming in.
Reese's doesn't, but he's got damage before, and they've actually worked that out as good as they can at the McLaren garage. But does David jump the flow? And that answer is yes, because the flow changes front wing as well. So Dave is now up into 11th, and for JSY, to avoid that drive-through, that's what he had to do. He's now going to be in 13th place. He's going to have to pit again. Brewmaster though, he's on 4-lap hold hards. He's now up in 7th. He's jumped the Tattoo Star, which is roughly where he was before.
Yeah, I think Brewmaster, it might work for him. I think he probably would have liked the safety car to maybe come a couple of laps earlier. At lap 15, this is pretty much obviously behind the safety car now for probably at least a couple of laps. This is pretty much the sort of like the optimum point to pit almost. You know, they would probably be pitting lap 16, lap 70 anyway with the hard runners. So obviously a couple of laps behind the safety car. Brewmaster really wanted that safety car, like I say, maybe 2 or 3 laps before. I think it's come a bit too late for him, and I think literally just that 2 or 3 laps is now going to see him drop down the order. But all he can do is try and stick in there, try and stick within the DRS. But now, obviously, the 8-second advantage that Button and Destroyer had is now back to nothing. So we're going to see now if the Wizard of Oz, Fardo, Reese, Speedy, or anyone else, and actually Brewmaster is in. Brewmaster is going to go to mediums, I think. And yeah, that strategy in the end has not worked out for him. So I'm assuming we're going to see the medium tyres out here for Brewmaster. But yeah, can we see Wizard of Oz, Fardo, Reese, one of those 3 that were battling? Can we see them now challenge the leaders?
I think this is more of a cut your losses here for Brewmaster. He knows he didn't gain anything, so I might as well, I say, just take the hit. As we'll have a look at our penalties throughout the race. Obviously JSY having that drive-through, that's going to promote Brewmaster up to 13th. Reese's Pieces and Sheriff Woody on 3 seconds, along with Rainbow and Sid. That's all really to report actually for penalties. Quite a tame race so far. But in the final few laps, we might be seeing 1 or 2 more, and this should really shake up the order, because I'm actually curious as to how many warnings both Destroyer and Button have. And even at that, just for reference here, the likes of Oz, Fardo and Reese, because all that tussling, I have a hunch that at least one of these drivers is on 2 warnings, so we get that looked at under the safety car, probably have a chance. First half of the race, apart from the opening lap, it's been quite tame. I say tame. There's been that titanic fight for third. We have our fight for the victory between Destroyer and Button. Now a few intruders, so to say, with Oz, Fardo, Reese and even Speedy. They're getting in this fight for a podium as well. Tattoo Star picking up where he left off. A steady drive for the Ferrari driver, but he's going to have to look behind him because David and the Flo, and even Locker for that matter, on their fight through the field, might be looking for a point or two in this race, and certainly a point to prove.
Yeah, are we going to see? I don't think we're going to quite see the safety car in this lap. And if I was Rainbow, I would be getting in the pits right now, because you're last, so you can't lose any more places, and get off those 10-lap-old mediums. Even if you've got a set of hards, they're going to be quicker than 10-lap-old mediums. And he's also got some wing damage, so I think, you know...
Yeah, I think that's really the paramount reason why you should put...
Yeah, exactly. I think even if, I mean, Hirsch is just pitted, so he wouldn't have to, but even if it was to get another lap, fresher tyres, why not at this stage? He's going to carry on. I'll be surprised if Rainbow stays out. No, he is in, and that's exactly what I expected. Get off those tyres, get a new wing, and then the safety car will be in next lap. I think it'll be an interesting restart. He should do, yeah.
Yeah, we should get back underway at the end of lap 17. So we'll have 11 laps to go at Shanghai. And the order from basically lap 3 is what you see right now. Destroyer and Button, 1 and 2. Wizard of Oz in 3rd. Fardo in 4th, having a decent recovery to their campaign. Up 8 places is Fardo, actually. Qualified 12th. But I think a big candidate here for driver of the day between himself and definitely Speedy B, up 9 places to 6th. We'll still have more to say in this race also. Brewmaster cutting his losses from the earlier pit stop, started 3rd for the Haas driver, now 14th. So all to do here for Brewmaster, and maybe get a couple of points on the board. His first real opponent is going to be Locker, since JSY has a penalty, a drive-through penalty, no less. So that's going to have to be served at the end of lap 18 when we get back underway. As I see Rainbow pushing a little bit to get around in time, he should be okay as safety car is in this lap. It's a long sector 3 though, so Rainbow should be okay to catch back up. And indeed he will, as around another never-ending right-hander of, if I'm correct, that is turn 12. And this never-ending back straight. Indeed a lot of long corners and long straights. And it's just about now who can manage their tyres to the end, because they'll be a little bit, let's say, a little bit ugly to the end of the race, as there is Destroyer, Button, and behind them is a gaggle of cars about 14 strong, looking to make their mark and start the season on a good note.
Yes, definitely. I think Destroyer really weaving those tyres there, trying to get them up to as much temperature as he possibly can before he darts away. The safety car is now in the pits. I thought he might have gone there, but he's going to wait a bit longer, and he's gone. There he goes. And Button, he's caught him a little bit, it has to be said actually. He's almost pulled a second on that restart. Button was a little bit asleep there getting away, but I think he'll do enough to hold off the Wizard of Oz. He just needs to make sure now that he doesn't fight too much with the guys behind him, and that he keeps a good pace here, because Destroyer has already pulled that second almost. In fact, he has, look, he's literally threatening with it. So yeah, Button now just got to make sure that he stays within that second barrier until the next lap when the DRS becomes active again. As we now see, and Fardo's getting very close to the back of Wizard of Oz. Everyone's now bunched together. Are we going to see more overtakes now? I think this is going to be hopefully a good end to the race. Last 10 laps. But as we see, Destroyer still fretting with that second barrier. And there's a yellow flag out, and I think Hirsch has gone off just for a little bit. He has dropped about 2.4 seconds off the back of Sid.
Yeah, not an ideal restart there for Hirsch, and not really a good evening in general for the Sauber driver. But the teammate Locker fighting for points here, and David Lawface has dropped out of that 1 second barrier to Sheriff Woody. He's now got a good couple of cars behind him, and one of them is actually a good friend of his, being Locker. Doesn't want to look at the back of that Mercedes for any longer than what he has to. Uses the battery, pulls to the left hand side, and using as much power as he can from that Sauber, which is very unrealistic this season, gets ahead of the Mercedes and is up now into the points from at one stage then in 18th place. So Locker definitely making the most of this restart, as there's Fardo losing out third now, down to 5th, as there's another car out in the pits. That looks like JSY at Seba's drive-through, diving into the pits there, as Locker gets another bonus point in the fastest lap. But Reese now up to 3rd, Oz now 4th, Fardo 5th, and Speedy B clunking the back there. That Aston Martin, is that front wing damage? It doesn't look like it, but certainly paint exchanged for the Alpine driver, and JSY's called it there because of that drive-through. I don't know about that call, there's still plenty of time to go, but obviously JSY is not fancying his chances, and last season's gremlins of misfortune has carried over for now the RB driver.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, he's shown some good pace in some races as JSY. He won that sprint race at Baku last season, but yeah, just a bit more about luck, I think, today, and maybe a track that's not suited to him. But he'll be back again, no doubt, next week, obviously. But look at that, though. Destroyer, 1.2 seconds. That's what he's looking for. And he will be out of DRS now, and Reese will have DRS on Button, and this is where Button now could potentially get caught up in fighting the guys behind him, and Destroyer can look to really pull a gap now in these last stages. 1.3 seconds, 1.1. Yeah, I think now he just needs to make sure he doesn't do anything silly and keeps it above a second. And I think, and Button's gone wide. This is going to allow Reese to now potentially go through on the outside of turn 1. This would be a very risky move, and he makes it work. Button trying to hold it now on the inside. Now obviously Reese has the inside line, and Reese is up to P2. Button fighting back on the outside, got to be careful. But as I was saying, look at what this has done for Destroyer. 1.9 seconds, 2 seconds now the gap. Exactly what he wanted to happen. He can now just run away with this. As long as he gets no time penalties, he's looking pretty good.
That it is, and the Button again started on pole, accepted second place for a long time, is now fighting to keep that second place. Destroyer 2.2 seconds now ahead of Reese, who throughout the majority of this race was fighting for 3rd, now looking like he can finish on his 2nd place podium step. Is now looking down towards this mid-pack. Sheriff Woody just not in range of Speedy B, and it's as we were now for 7th place, but the Tattoo Star and Locker for that matter and the Flow have caught up and are now in that little DRS train as through the horseshoe of turn 12. We're going to follow Reese's pieces down at the back straight, but also keep an eye out on Button just ahead. There's Button making the move and the return on Reese in towards the hairpin, and there goes Reese's pieces waiting for a move on Sheriff Woody. Not yet. And much like this race, it's not yet. The McLarens and the Ferraris going hammer and tong with each other, as the Flow's got a 3-second penalty for cutting the chicane, and that's allowed Rumaster now through to take 11th place. And next up for their recovery drive is Locker, as there's Reese and Button once again exchanging at turn 1, and there's Wizard of Oz now. As there he is there on the outside of Button in towards turn 2. He's still there as the Alpine driver. Button leaving the room, but he's got the momentum at the exit. He's going to just about brave it, but Oz is still there, trying and fighting to get back in that podium, but at the expense of Button. He's going to hold on as the Button defends the inside for turn 5 and holds on once more So this is now, at one stage, a 2-horse race for victory. Is now looking to be a 5-horse race for second.
Yep, Destroyer's loving this. They're just fighting all the time now, and he's really taking advantage. 3 seconds now is the gap. He looks like he's definitely going to be winning this race, provided he keeps it on the track and there's no more safety cars in this race. Speedy is keeping up well, it has to be said, in P6. Obviously, the fighting pack in front of him is allowing him to do this, but he's had a really strong race from where he started down in P15. He's gained 9 positions. Sparto's gained 7 positions, to be fair. Those two really had some good racing today. It's been a bit further back. We've also got the Tattooed Star, Reese's Pieces going for a move now on Sheriff Woody. As he now goes down into the hairpin. Who's going to break later? And Reese's Pieces makes the move. Sheriff Woody's trying to hold it round the outside. And Reese's Pieces for now will keep the position.
Oh dear, Reese. That's the 3 seconds for him, and that is now terrible news for the Red Bull driver. Zero's always looking around the outside at turn 1. He's gone. Oz now up to second place. Reese is still there though, fighting away around turn 1. He's got a little bit of a clip there from Oz now. Fardo's on his way up into 3rd. Button now down to 5th. That's they've locked wheels! Oh no.
That'll be a safety car. Surely that's going to be a safety car.
It's a virtual. Groundsy, where you at? Because that happened to me and him at Kota.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's terrible ending for Fardo and for Reese. Oh dear.
Well,
yeah. Monkey, I think you know what that calls for, mate.
Zoinks! Run, Scoo!
That as well as I need to throw this towards you. It's a certain. I think I'm gonna leave it for you. I think you know what it is. It's oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oz. All that fighting, Button said to endure, and his 3 rivals have. Oh wait, that's actually what happened to Oz here. Slowing down. Looks like. I think he's called it here. He's got a drive-through for speed into the safety car, but he's coasting down the back straight. Mechanical faults now introduced? Question mark.
I don't know. Have no idea.
Oh, Locker, that's brave. Respect to the Tattoo Star though for seeing it, but Locker now finds himself up in 6th at Tell Lies, now 7th. Oh shit, Woody's gone! Woody's gone! Oh,
no, that's a safety car. That's a safety car.
That's a safety car. Oh my. Yeah, so much for clean racing. Button right now, you can go buy a lottery ticket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I don't know what happened with Sheriff Woody there. But yeah, this race has took an absolute complete turn on its head.
Yeah.
In the last 2 laps. We've got another safety car.
Nah, 2 seconds more like, let alone 2 laps.
Yeah. I'm assuming everyone's going to pit for softs. So we've got 5 laps left for the race. Speedy is up to 3rd from 15th on the grid.
Rumas is now 5th. He's actually recovered. Locker's now 6th. David's in the points. What couldn't have possibly happened at the first restart has happened.
Yeah. I mean...
Welcome to FPRL, everyone.
I was going to say, if Rainbow was a little bit close to the pack, I would definitely be saying to him, stay out, because you gain a lot of places. But, yeah, I think we should see everyone in the softs. And we'll soon see. Surely you pick softs over 8-lap old mediums. There's Destroyer, and surely we'll see Button and Speedy in.
Nope.
Oh. Okay.
That's a brave call for Button, I'll say that.
Well, the fact that everyone else is probably going to pit, and that means Destroyer will just come out in P2. The flow's gone.
David stayed out as well as the flow.
I can get David.
Sid stayed out too.
I can get David, and I can get Hutton maybe. I don't get the other two because they've got time penalties. Because they're just going to drop behind people anyway. So
One thing I will say though, as actually I think Rainbow has stayed out, is Button's now in the lead. Locker's lost out a little bit. I think Rainbow stayed out as well as Reese's Pieces. Speedy is now 6th, but on softs. One thing I will say though, for pitting for softs, a lot of drivers will do the same, but it's about how quickly you can break through the pack. That's going to be the deciding factor, because you're going to have, I think if I'm correct, you'll have 4 laps if Oz catches up to this train. We'll have 4 laps of racing. The amount of drivers on penalties and on soft tyres we'll actually have a look at through the... There we go. We've got mostly the drivers down from 5th place. So Destroyer in 5th place, down Wizard of Oz in 14th. So that's 10 drivers who have pitted for softs, barring Rainbow. So you've got to fight your way through those cars and catch up to Sid and get ahead of them before you even have a look at a podium. So really, the only driver you're looking at here is maybe Destroyer and Speedy to make the most of this. Everyone else, it's kind of like an element of survival almost towards the end of this race.
yeah, I definitely think that. I still think. I mean, yeah, Wizard of Oz isn't going to catch this lap, so they'll go and get it. So by the time they're done, it'll be lap 26, 27. There's going to be 3 laps of racing. I still think for softs over 9-lap-old mediums, I mean, Destroyer should literally breeze past them, but it just depends on where he can overtake them. Could be a good call from David. I mean, Rainbow as well. Rainbow's up in the points. He's P9. So, yeah, fair play to him. It's, yeah, I just think that Destroyer, Speedy as well. Reese's Pieces, but he's got a time penalty. So, Destroyer and Speedy, I definitely think are just going to really blitz the guys in front of them. But we'll have to just wait and see. We'll be going racing at the end of this lap. And hopefully there's no more carnage, but I can't promise anything there.
Yeah, I certainly hope there's no more carnage. I think we've had a dosage of that in spells in this race. One dose at the start of the evening and another one at the end. But we still got a make 3 laps when we get back underway. As I see Silverside Boy is cheering on his he's the #1 fan of the David Lawface Supporters Club. And Radical saying that Oz was saved by that safety car. That he was. But it's just about minimal getting a point or two, I think. Minimal damage, I think, for Oz. Because at one stage that was looking like, dare I say, 2nd place. And even at that, a chance of victory with this safety car too. But it is what it is. And you've got to be at the right place at the right time to survive everything. And if you're Button, you've got to hope this is indeed that time. Because Destroyer, who you've been seeing the back of that Haas for most of the race, down in 5th, he's got 3 cars. And one of them is Button's former teammate, David Lawface. So, I'm not going to say anything, but politics might play its part here, and maybe some friendship too. The bond that was Button and David, Constructors champions last season, maybe David will have one more favour on offer for his former teammate tonight. Keep an eye out as well. We got Locker penalty free in 8th, Brewmaster penalty free in 10th, as well as the Tattoo Star, and Wizard of Oz down in 14th. He's got a lot of work to do to make the most of the final 3 laps at Shanghai. But Button just biding his time, and I get the feeling we're going to go racing at the exit of the final corner. Button going to back up the pack just a little bit more, get the momentum at the final corner, and away we go for the final time tonight. Button, the flow, David Lawface and Sid Sandwich having his best performance so far up in 4th. As out goes the flow, looking for a move immediately in towards turn 1. Round the outside goes the flow, and this is what he has to do to try and build that buffer of 3 seconds, or hope that Button and David and Sid and even that everyone else just gets caught up in a titanic fight. The flow can run away. As it was Reese's Pieces making a move on Speedy with that front wind damage though, and Speedy now down in 7th into the clutches of Locker Destroyer, as disposed almost of himself and Sid a slight tangle of wheels there, but they both survive. And Destroyer playing it dangerously, but he has to if he wants to try and salvage this race. They those races pieces as well around the outside of 6-9, which who's being caught out massively here by the fresh at soft. We're looking for a cutback here on the McLaren in towards turn 8 and turn 9, and he's going to have to relinquish that. And for Sid, it's damage limitation from here on out as Edo's Destroyer making another overtake now, and David Lawface, as Edo's Reese's Pieces look to follow him through on that time penalty. David doesn't have to fight this one too hard, but he's going to make it a bit more awkward here for Reese's Pieces. And Destroyer now third, and the McLaren now fourth. And now, this is prime position now for Button and Destroyer. Can those mediums hold on?
It's been not too bad of a first lap for these medium runners, but Destroyer is right now on the back of these two, and I just can't see how Destroyer is not going to get past these two. He's going to have DRS now as well, and I think it is Destroyer's race. Speedy though, I mean, you know, Button can still beat Speedy here, to be fair, because Speedy's trying to fight with David, and Speedy will need to try and get past as soon as he can. He's trying to really hard, but just can't seem to make anything work at the moment. Just needs to find the right gap. We'll go back to the front, the flow then. He's going to drop down, so this is really Button versus Destroyer, really, at the moment. And Destroyer surely just needs to find the correct point of the lap. He won't be using any of his battery because he doesn't need to, because he's got so much more superior grip than these other two, but he will be wanting to try and get past Button as soon as possible. Won't want to leave it to the final lap in case he does make a mistake. But watch the grip he'll get out of this corner here, and especially the corner going onto the back straight. That's where he'll want to take a Button. Oh, he doesn't want to lose it there. He's getting very close to the back of the RB. As we now come on to the back straight, look at the grip we're going to have. And to be fair, the medium tyre there wasn't too bad there, actually, to be honest. As we now...
One thing I will say though, Button, you don't want to use your battery too soon. You don't want to do this too soon either. But he's going to make the move on the flow, and crucially for him, get ahead of the flow. But it's now about what happens in towards turn 1. Can the flow stay ahead of Destroyer, or does Button just pave the way through for the McLaren, who launches it in the final corner? Makes it awkward for Destroyer. But Button, dare I say, you've just shot yourself in the foot there.
Yeah,
Destroyer into what's turn 1, and indeed, sorry to cut you off there, Monkey Boy, correct, you were going to say the exact same thing as me, but Destroyer into the lead, and Button, I think they made that move one lap too early.
Yeah, I think those two fighting didn't really help him. I think he should have just let Flo stay in front. He would have got him on the penalties anyway, just tried to defend and kept the DRS at least, but that's not worked for him. And now here goes Speedy on David Lowface. Speedy now makes the move up to P5, and he's going to go up to P3 with the penalties that are in front of him. He's had a really good race as Speedy. He's really stuck in there and done really well. Just a few more corners for him, and he will be on the podium in today's season opener in Tier 3. Can David now trying to hold on from the likes of Locker, Remaster? Oh, and Remaster's lost it!
Oh, Roo.
Oh, and he was literally... Oh, no! Yeah, frustrated, but yeah, no need for that. But yeah, it is Destroyer's race. He's going to win. We've got another yellow flag out.
David's gone.
Oh, no. David.
Of all times.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's all went on here in China, but one man who survived the chaos is Destroyer. He's qualified in the front row, started in second, but to finish in first place, that's how you want to start a campaign, and that's how Destroyer sets the tone in Tier 3. He wins at Shanghai. Button again, he can't quite convert from pole. He settles for second place though, better than other results. Speedy B back-to-back third places for him. Locker takes fourth somehow, and he'll be very chuffed with that, I'm sure. McLaren's finished 5th and 6th for themselves. And for Destroyer, he arrived in the lead like a chariot of fire, put the tier on notice around Brazil last campaign with a 4th place finish, and now he's put them on notice saying that he's a title contender with performances like that. I'd certainly tip my hat to him and tout him as a favourite.
Yeah, a great race from Destroyer. Led obviously most of it when he got past Button early on. Plenty of safety cars obviously later on, 2 of them, which could have changed it all up, but the choice for softs proved to be the correct one in the end. Thought potentially we were going to see Button maybe nick it. I mean, he did finish second on the medium, so it was, it was good to go for the gamble in some ways, but yeah, Destroyer comes out on top. And after qualifying second, it's a very successful race for him. Button second, and obviously we can't forget Speedy coming up from P15 to get on the podium. What a drive from him as well.
That it was. And I tell you what, Wizard it was recovering from 14th with 3 laps left to finish 7th. You'll be happy with that. Tattoo Star, that's his best result, I think, in quite a while to get 8th place. Sid Sandwich will take 9th, and Reese gets the fastest lap, but could have been so much more for the Red Bull drivers. Hirsch actually ended up out the points. That's why he was running up in 8th, and he spun at the final corner, he said. Oh, Hirsch, oh dear. David will get 12th after that last lap spin as well. Rainbow a little bit further back. Brewmaster a lap down after that crash. And Ninja retirees for not seeing the end of the race. And I think today, if you're a Destroyer, indeed is, just indeed a good performance and how you want to start your campaign. But rest assured though, Button will be out for vengeance at the next round, I'm sure. As we get our drivers in for a post-race chat, I'll see if I can get a word with Destroyer and Speedy through our Discord server. And I think Button's already in, so as we head to the showroom, let's have a quick word with last season's Constructor Champion. As I've failed to load into a session that I'm leaving. Of all things, man. Right, let's head to the showroom. So we will go to the showroom, eventually. We'll get the 3rd place album, if I'm correct. It's the Alpine of Speedy B. I need to get used to these new driver cars, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, I'm a bit rusty. I was used to seeing Speedy in the Aston for one race last season. But the Alpine, fair play to him. And we'll get the RB on screen for our P2 driver, Donkey Boy Kurt. Over to you and Button.
Yeah, thank you, Cruiser. Button, back on the podium. Have a pole position for yourself, obviously. The quali pace is still there. So first of all, we'll start with quali. You seem to be on another level, really, in contrast to everyone else. Pole by over 3.5 temps. China, one of your favourite tracks?
Evening tracks. No, it's not actually. I don't really like it. I was quite surprised that I got pole, to be honest. But it was a good time. It wasn't a bad time. So I was quite pleased with it. But I just don't like China. It is what it is.
You seem to be in control the whole quali session. No one really beat you any points. Obviously, you set your first time and then bettered it and then bettered it again. So it was just kept getting better and better and better. But comes to the race, and obviously yourself and Destroyer at one point before the first safety car pulling about an 8.5-9 second gap, just you two at the front. Obviously he got past you in sort of the first few laps, and then we were noticing on stream, obviously going back to it quite a lot, you just couldn't seem to get close enough to really come back at him. It was always about 6-7 temps, and then by the end of the DRS you're always just about 2 temps behind. Was it your plan to try and obviously make a move, or were you just happy at that stage just to sit in his DRS and just make sure he wasn't getting away from you?
No, you're right. I couldn't quite get close enough without really sending it, and I didn't want to risk both our races because that would be sending it into the hairpin, and the likelihood is I'll go straight on if I try that. So I thought, well, I'll see if he makes a mistake, because he got twitchy a couple of times. So I thought I'll sit there and maybe a bit later in the race, if we're still in the same position, I'll try and get a bit closer and give it a go. And the guys behind were dropping back, but I think that's because they were fighting more than anything, from what I was being told.
Yeah,
it was exceptionally quicker than them.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of fighting between 3rd, 4th and 5th. Sort of every lap they were swapping places. So yeah, I definitely think that contributed to obviously the lead that you gained. Safety cars obviously come in. The first one was pretty the same for everyone, switching to the mediums. But obviously the last one where we had the choice of do we stay out on the mediums or do we come in for the softs? Obviously you opted for the mediums. Almost paid off. I have to say at first I thought maybe a little bit of a big mistake there, but P2 is basically where you were before the safety cars. I think you'll take that for the first race of the new season.
Yeah, I messed up that last safety car. I forgot to turn my ERS on as I started the lap, and they went past me, so I lost a bit of time there. I decided that when I saw Drastic go in, I thought he's going to come out too far down the pack, but he didn't. He came out a lot closer to the front than I thought he would. So I knew it was going to be a bit of a struggle to keep him back from there. But yeah, I'll take P2 from there. Staying out of mediums just about paid off, I think. I don't think I'd have gained anything by going onto the softs. I might have been further back, because Drastic got through, but there's no guarantee I'd have followed him through. So I'll take P2 this week.
Yeah, no, once again, great job on the first race of the new season. Obviously, a nice PT for you, and it sets you up for obviously the next round. I'm just going to remind myself of the next round. I really should know this, to be honest.
You're off to the Hungaroring next.
Oh, after the Hungaroring. See, I would not have said that. So, Hungaroring, obviously, another track that is even more harder to overtake on is the Hungaroring. How would you assess yourself around there? Do you like that track?
I do like it there. It's always been a luckiest track for me, so maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm looking forward to it. I do like the track, yeah.
Good. Well, once again, congratulations. Anything to add, Cruiser?
No, just all in all, a very tame drive, and then it all exploded at the end for Button, but you still survived to take your first podium of the season, so I'll pass on my congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
As we won't be able to hear from Destroyer tonight though, or Speedy B, as they are cross-platform, but Destroyer has typed his message out in our Twitch chat saying, "Quick word on the race, Button did a great job pushing me a lot. I tried my best not to make a mistake. I got the rear end to loosen up a few times, and luckily I didn't drop it. The guys behind lost a lot of time, around 3/4 of a second, through fighting, and dual-minded if he wanted to stay out for mediums or pit for softs, but he took the risk and it turned out to be the right one, and kudos to Button for a fantastic battle. And around the Hungaroring is one of his favourite tracks as well. So keep an eye out for round 2, it seems, between Destroyer and Button. A potential championship fight brewing. We will find out next time out around the Hungaroring. That is to be next week, which is the 21st of October. But before then, we have 2 more races this week in our Tier 2 category, which I myself and Monkey Boy Kurt will see you guys on track 8 PM UK time around the Shanghai International Circuit, before our Tier 1 drivers complete the week in China at 8 PM UK time also. But before we go, Monkey Boy Kurt, it's the first of many of the season. Who's going to get your driver of the day?
Well, this driver really, he kind of avoided all the carnage at the start that we saw on the first couple of laps. In a bit of a lonely race for a little while, and then he found himself just gaining time for the people that were fighting in front of him. He's made the right decisions in terms of when to pit for the safety cars and what tyres to go on. He's kept off the penalties, and I feel like he deserves the driver of the day today from where he's come up also on the grid. So a really good drive from 15th to 3rd. The driver of the day is going to go to Speedy B today.
There we go. And I got a quick word then before we end off from Speedy B, our driver of the day, saying that he basically hates this track. So not the only one in that category. I was fighting hard the whole race, and that safety car at the end saved me, even though I was catching up slowly. A crazy race, just happy to be back in the podium once again. Congratulations to Destroyer and to others. I'm terrible at quali, but race pace is reasonable, as we've seen tonight. And he's ready for the next event. And that we are, but we have to do our race first, the Monkey Boy Kurt. So, toe-toms, but rivals on track. I'll see you, I'll hopefully, not at the back of the pack, but no promises, on Wednesday. But, as we tune out, and chime out. For the first time this season, that has been Monkey Boy Kurt.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you again next week.
And this has been Cruiser 1872. Been a while since I've said this, 2 weeks. Thank you all very much for watching, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night.